I discovered a new sense of independence when I started cooking. The freedom to decide what I want to eat, how I make it, what kind of ingredients I choose. It developed a sense of autonomy and self sufficiency where I could rely on myself and my skills and creativity to feed myself. I've been living by myself for nearly 10 years now, but it's only in the last 1 year when I started cooking. And I started small with my all time favorite comfort meal, egg and rice. It's not the gravy which my mother makes at home or the curry that you get in restaurants, but it's a quick 15 minutes recipe that I picked up to soothe my hunger. The ingredients are basic: one or half an onion, one chili, one pot of garlic, two or three mushrooms, and one tomato. I cut off the stem at first and then I chop the mushroom. Now, here's the thing, I never used to have mushroom when I was in India. I never cooked in India, that's also true. But once I discovered mushroom, I kinda have a habit of putting it into every single dish that I cook. And God, I can even have butter fried mushroom without anything else. I love it that much. And then the garlic. I first pick out a pod. I try to peel off its skin. And here's a technique that I actually saw online, and I really, really love the technique. You smush the garlic. Oh, yeah. Because honestly, after that, chopping it is just so much easier. And I don't like garlic as much as a lot of people do, so I try to chop it really small so that you can just get the essence of it, but you don't really taste it in your mouth. You know what I mean? And now I'm going to melt the butter. For this, I take 1 cube of butter and I add it to a heated pan and wait for it to melt. I also spread the butter all over the pan so that the process is a bit quicker and also the ingredients don't stick to the pan that way. And honestly, I love butter. It's the best thing in the world, and in my opinion, you can never have too much butter. Now that the butter has melted, I'm going to release the mushrooms into the pan and let them fry. I think to have a good, crispy, golden texture of the mushroom, it's very important to make sure that the mushroom isn't overcrowded in the pan. So I try to spread them over to give all of them a bit of a breathing space. It might happen that sometimes the mushroom might get burned, but don't worry. As long as you don't taste the burn, I think it should be fine. I'm kidding. Don't let it burn. Be patient with it, but also keep your focus on it. And as the mushroom fries, I'm going to chop off the rest of the ingredients like onion and tomato. Now, I imagine that the real cooking begins once you put the oil in the heated pan. And once the oil is properly heated, I add the cumin seeds, followed by the black cumin seeds. And I ensure that I'm doing it in a medium to low heat because I'm very scared of the oil flashing all over my face. Once I've put in the seeds, I add the salt. I try to add as much as I want at this stage so that I don't have to add it later on because I might forget. And after the salt, I add my turmeric powder. Yeah, I pretty much forgot the name of that ingredient there. And lastly, I add the garlic, the chopped garlic, that is. Now, I do it in this order again just to ensure that the oil is not splashing all over my face because that is something I'm still terrified of. Once all the ingredients are added, I give it a nice good stir and let it rest. Now that the ingredients are all calm, in a low heat, I add the onion, followed by the tomato, all in low heat. I'll keep repeating this throughout my video because I don't want anyone to get burned in oil. And my mom always says that when you put the onion and the tomato, you need to let them rest and let them fry on their own for a bit so that they are not overcooked and they retain their taste even after a while. So that's what I did. I just gave it a little stir and let it rest. And while my ingredients are resting, I put the rice for boil. I add a little bit something into the rice to give it a nice little scent. And voila, it's boiling. While the ingredients are heating, I add back the mushroom in it because we had already fried and kept it aside and mix it all up. Now, other than mushroom, my other favorite thing is coriander. And yes, none of my dishes are ever complete without coriander. So while everything is heating up and I'm waiting, I patiently chop down a few coriander leaves, which I'm going to add to the dish later on once everything is over. I try to experiment with stuff a lot, and I found this chili sauce in the supermarket, which I often add to my dishes. It's kind of sweet and sour, so it really tastes good. That's why I just added it. There's no added value other than that, to be honest. And after that, I add the cream, which is a must for all my dishes once again because I have developed a special liking for cream. And after that, I give it a stir, and I love watching this thick gravy that is forming right in front of my eyes, and I know it's going to taste really well. And to calm down all the hula hoo, I add water to it and just look at it. It's all right there and it's all happening. And while it's happening, I take 2 eggs, crack them open, and let them sit on the curry in the making, you can say. And I'm also super proud that the eggs came out as whole and so proper, and I did not leave a single piece of shell behind, which sometimes might happen when you're not very careful. So voila, it's right there, and top it up with some coriander, and I think it's really good to go. So once I'm done putting up the coriander, I'm gonna close it up with the lid and just be patient with it. And in the end, this is what we have. A beautiful boiling gravy with egg on top of it. I try to serve myself just as patiently because what's the point if you cook something and then it spills all over? So I also take the time to ensure that the egg properly settles on top of the rice, and then I surround it with the gravy. And this is also a process that I really enjoy because, this is sort of the end. You have put in all the work, and this is the result of your work. I know the food is far from being perfect, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there can make it 10 times better than I did. But hey, for a beginner, it tastes really good, and I think it also looks good. And it is so comforting to have at the end of a long working day. Enjoy!